just yell fuck?
For sure.
Attention, you are now tuned in to Pass the Controller.
Game on. Round table, show me your moves.
How these moves get good and get in the groove.
Gears of war like Sonic hopping the tuck.
You don't want the smoke, you'll get bodied by big nuts.
Come for the character, stay for the content.
Fans from the elite to the civic minded.
Conventions are streamed, the topics deceased.
Tell them tune in, peace and hair grease. Let's go, baby. Peace and hair grease.
Pass that, pass that, pass that, pass the controller. Pass that, pass that, pass that, pass the controller. Pass that, pass that, pass that, pass the controller. Pass that, pass that, pass that, pass the controller.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is a brand new episode of Pass Controller. That's right, man. Listen, we've gone through Mario Day, man. This is International Women's History Month. Listen, there's a lot to talk about as far as video game world is coming to. But listen, we're going to get to the root of all things. Before we do, man, you know who I am. I am McNux. I'm the saltiest gamer alive, man. I got to switch up that little intro for sure, man. But you know me as always. You know my core group of guys. What's up, Civic? How you been, man? The beautiful wise man that will give you, I guess, what is it, the coins? If I've got that cat from Skyrim. Where is it? God darn, dude. I should know, man. Cat, there you go. There you go. That's what we. How you been, Civ? What's going on, man?
Good, man. Yeah, I just want to personally welcome both our viewers to another episode of the PTC. Anyway, oh hey, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, wow, it's been a good time, man. All things are good. I got a lot to talk about tonight. Yeah, we got cool topics, good stuff. We have a very special guest tonight. Before we get to her, I want to do the last but not least of the triumvirate of the PTC heroes, my man, the Smoke.
What's up, y'all? What's going on, y'all? I'm that unsolicited big boss that you have to unlock in order to get to the final level. And we are here today. Pass the Controller is back. We're here live tonight, and I'm excited to be back with my crew. And I mean, I'm ready to talk about video games, everything under the sun, Mark's debut, and his new movie coming up. Because everybody knows that's really him with the British accent. We all know.
Of course. You know,
that's why you notice how you never see Knuckles and Idris Elba in the same room.
How about that? Yep, you got that right, man. Listen, I got the
saying.
same voice. I got the same voice, man. You know, there you go.
But before we even begin, let's say what's up and introduce our special guest. She is a legendary gamer. She goes way back from, we're talking about the early days of video games like myself. She is well-versed in the world of games, and she has a great, really cool perspective. Not only that, She's a radio personality for college radio. She's well known around the tri-state area. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the awesome, fantastic photographer. I mean, this woman has all these things lined up. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one and only Paige Hammermill.
Did you just call me old?
I think that's what she latched onto. That was the big takeaway right there.
I was like, wait a minute. Listen, what did he say?
Like, I just blew
She
you
heard
up.
nothing. She heard nothing after that.
I know. I just blew you up and all. And then she got
No, thank you. I thank you very much. You called me old. But that's okay. That's all right.
I said her well versed into the world of video games, her knowledge, her perspectives, because she has a wide range of knowledge because she's played games for a long time, like myself. Yeah, see,
It's just the fact you're doing old, dude. It's like
welcome to our official kickoff of Women's History Month. Brought to you by The Smoke.
oh my God.
Hey, I haven't lost my touch yet.
No.
Well, Paige, we welcome you, especially to this episode, man. And of course, like I said, we are definitely celebrating Women's History Month, as well as Mario Day as well too. So that's why we appropriately named this episode, a day with Mario, a month with Princess Peach. You know what I mean? Because again, we want to focus especially to a lot of the women gamers, especially the female video game characters that we play with, that we enjoy, that touched our hearts in video games. So yeah, that touched our hearts, Smoke. That touched our hearts, Smoke. Nah, get out of here. I don't know what
that we play with.
That we play. You know what? Bad versing. Yeah, I know for sure. I hate you, Smoke. You see what it is, Paige? You see what I did?
Did we start talking about that game, Catherine, or something?
Oh my God, man!
Did I miss something?
Oh my God, that's another story. That's a Valentine's Day kind of thing, man. But anyway, not to digress. And let's backtrack for a moment, man, because again, like I said, this is Pass Controller, man. We do anything here. I don't give a crap, man. Like seriously, dude. Tell your boss on us, man. But listen, we are going to start off with what we have been playing. You know what, Smoke, man? We're gonna start with you, man. What you been playing, Smoke?
Well, I just finished playing Horizon Zero West, or Horizon Forbidden West.
Okay.
Which, again, I got to say, great game. Great graphics, great story. It basically doubled up on what the first game presented, which was Horizon Zero Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
This one basically is more. It's more. You have more like to do. You have more. There's so much. They basically listened and they refined it. There's a lot more ground to cover. The storyline. It's a continuation where the last game left off, or actually where the DLC left off. And basically, without getting anything away, you're going to have, I spent hours, when I say hours, I spent hours and hours just farming, getting everything I can get off the ground. And basically, it's been great. You got some people who got some reviews on it. They're like, oh, well, it could have been like this, could have been like that. You can never make everyone happy. But to me, I enjoyed this game. Storyline wise, definitely they're setting up for a trilogy. But definitely this game was very fulfilling. It was one of those games I couldn't stop putting down. Like, as soon as I had to force myself to get off playing it,
right?
Because of the fact that it was so engrossing and I wanted to cover so much ground and everything. But once you get the feel for it, once you get the play style for it and all, it's really good. The thing is, you got to play with the whole PlayStation. If you get it on PlayStation 4, you got to play with the whole thing of buying it on PlayStation 4 and then migrating it over to PlayStation 5. It was a big controversy with that because in 1 minute they were like, oh, we're not going to do any cost charging you any extra for DLC or change over to PS5 and all. And it was a big mix up with that. But then, my biggest recommendation is get it on PS4, and then, you won't have to pay the extra price of what, like I did, which was like $69, but it was worth it. It was well worth it.
Okay.
I'm not going to say I'm going to do that for every PlayStation 5 game, but it's like I said, this game, it was understood why they wanted to go back and they pushed it back for as long as they did. It's understood because, I'd rather have a complete game than to have a game that has a lot of glitches and all. And I can see where they, had a glitch here, glitch there. But then as soon as they put out the patch fixed it right away.
Right.
And all. And it's still a work in progress. But like I said, I was able to finish the game, and I'm waiting for a DLC now. So give me a DLC. I'm hoping that the DLC comes soon. And then also the other game I'm playing, which I think everyone is playing right now, and I never thought I would ever say this. I'm playing right now Elden Ring.
Yeah, you got with the hype, dude. You got with the hype. So how's Elden Ring, man? Honestly.
Okay, so from a point of view as a player that does not like road games, and I've said this on prior episodes, I am not a fan of road games. I wanted to give Elden Ring a chance because, again, I don't want to be that guy that just says, well, I don't want to play it because, it sucks and all this stuff. I wanted to play it firsthand. So now, after I played Horizon Zero West, and that was just like a week ago, I started playing Elden Ring. I maybe put in 3.5 hours so far because I'm taking my time with it because, again, I'm new to playing road games like in this kind of detail.
Right.
But I will say this. When I played Bloodborne, it's definitely come a long way since I played like Bloodborne. Bloodborne was the last road game I really was invested in. This game here makes it a little bit more forgiving. Yes, it is still hard.
Yeah.
But they are a lot more forgiving in the sense where they have these places where it's like you have these little spots where basically you don't have to unlock it. You just go over to them. These little I forgot what the hell they call them. You go over to them, you open it up. Basically, You're opening up the map. You can go anywhere in this game, anywhere. When I mean anywhere, where it's forgiving at is if you hit these spots that are save points. They're almost like save points. They're markers on the map, but they're save points also. So you're taking on a boss, like what you're seeing here on the screen. The boss kills you. You go right back to that save point and all, the last spot you're at. Now, you can continue on trying to take on that boss, or you can say, to hell with it, I'm going to go somewhere else on the map. And anywhere that you covered on the map where you hit those save spots, you can go anywhere on the map. You can always come back later when you're fully leveled up and you have the experience, XP, all that stuff, and you can take on the boss again. I've only ran into that once or twice where my ego couldn't let it go. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to walk away from this and I'm going to come back and take on this person and what have you. But again, it is a beautiful looking game. It is graphic wise, it's phenomenal. Again, it's open world. You can go anywhere in this game. You don't know what you're going to encounter. It's like, but it's like I said, it's forgiving. So it's one of those games that I want to take very seriously in the sense that, I don't want to just go into it like, yeah, I'm just going to chop off some heads and all. I really want to see how far I can take this and all. I'm pretty sure people have seen stuff on YouTube about it, the walkthroughs and all. There's a lot of definitely advice that people can give you on the YouTube channels and all that stuff. So, I mean, again, I highly recommend this game. It is going to be one of the top games of this year. I definitely highly recommend. For those people that want to ever try to see what a road game is like, this is a great way to introduce you to it without feeling like you have to be a little apprehensive about it. This game is a lot more forgiving, even though it's still hard, but it makes you work for it. It makes you want to build your character.
Right.
It makes you want to go in and see how far you can go and everything else. So unlike where Returnal was, it was like once you get killed, you get sent back to where you were last at. I mean, to the very beginning of the spaceship and all. This is what I like about a road game. If a road game can be like this, where they give you save points, and let's say, for example, you're taking on a boss, you're not leveled up, you're not experienced yet, but you can like, okay, I'm gonna come back to this. I want to go somewhere else and farm more gear, learn more about the area and all, and then come back and take on the boss. I can go with that more than just getting killed off, having the feeling of rage and then saying I rage quit. This game has not had me wanting to rage quit.
Really? Okay. So a couple questions, because I know a lot of us especially aren't really like Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Demon Souls kind of players and all that too. Is this a game for those that like saying that they were never into it? With this a game that you would say, hey, you know what? Start off with this game. You know what I mean? Get the feel of it, and hopefully your love for those type of Souls games and Bloodborne games will kind of come alive. Would you recommend this game? Yeah.
I recommend it. Also, what is cool about it is you can ask other people. Like, let's say the three of us are playing the game. I can request you to come on, or Brian to come on to help me out taking on a boss.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Come on at the same time. The only thing I'm going to tell you guys out there, if you get Elden Ring, there's these little notes on the ground
Read them
from different players that will leave you notes and say, like they. And I start playing the game in the beginning. There's these cliffs. Whatever you do, ignore the lines what they tell you on the cliff. Don't jump off the cliff. Don't jump off cliffs, because they'll say, "Hey, jump down the cliff and all." But there are a lot of cliff notes that other players will leave you. A lot of them you have to weigh a 50-50 thing. If it's somebody that like Mark, if Mark is playing it, and I say, "Oh, Mark is playing it," he's going to be at this point. Let me leave him this. And then also you see their echoes. As you're playing, you see their little echoes of where they were. There's blood splats where they were formerly killed or whatever, and you can see what they did to get around certain levels and all. I mean, hell, I just found a level where you go to the spot and you can farm as many souls.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to just maneuver yourself around this thing, and you can get as many souls and all to farm as much as you want. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'm gonna do that once on a blue moon when I need it and all. But I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. But this, I mean, seriously, man, there's big ass creatures walking across the land, and you're like, should I go over there and mess with them? Should I not? And these things are monstrosities. So I'm like, again, it's an open world. And then once you get your steed, pretty much the sky's the limit, man. Oh, I love my steed.
Now, kind of merging with one of the topics we'll talk about. I was going to talk about is Elden Ring. The hype is the hype real. Let me ask you this personally, since you played it, since it's like you could look at throughout the scores of Elden Ring, it's 10, 5 stars, everything. They say it's legit a perfect game. It could be like automatic game of the year. Just nothing else can compare to it. What do you say? Do you say this is a perfect game?
I would say, oh God, I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, would you say that for you, like personally, would you say that this is top notch, like game of the year? Nothing can beat it. I doubt there's nothing can touch this game.
I'll say it's a contender.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say it's definitely up there. From my experience, because I'm not a hardcore Souls fan. So
right.
For those hardcore Souls fans, they're going to be on Candyland. For me, as someone who loves open world RPGs, MMO, whatever you want to call it, I love those kind of games. This is the first time I'm taking on a Souls-like game with open world that gives me a little bit more flexibility. I think if it didn't have that flexibility, I'd be kind of shut. And I think that's what makes it why a lot of people are on the hype about it, because it's not going to crush you as soon as you open it up and play it. Someone put out a doggone, I'm pretty sure you guys saw the cartoon. Someone put a cartoon with Link running around and said, "Oh," and he goes up to a skeleton. He says, "Welcome to Elden," and the skeleton stabs him. Welcome to Elden Ring. And I'm telling you, the game, I mean, seriously, I'm like, I think I'm still in awe with it, because I'm like, some of these creatures, man, and monsters, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I mean, these things are like ginormous. I will say the hype it's definitely, I can understand where the hype is coming from, and I can understand where the hype, it definitely lives up from my point of view as someone who's not a hardcore fan of the Souls thing, but seeing from that point of view, seeing that if it's one of the top games of the year, or is going to be like, the game of the year, that is still, I would say it's a contender.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You have to remain, because and it's ironic that they put out Horizon Zero West, Forbidden West at the same time.
Yeah.
So Forbidden West, it's not limited either, but it depends on your flavor, it depends on how you feel about it. Like, again, you have this creation mode. So, I love the creation character, because again, you have all these different characters you can be. You could be a wanderer, you could be a samurai, you could be a knight, you could be a mage, you could be, and then you can make the person, look like you. And so there are very more pluses than there are minuses. But again, it's one of those games that, in my category, it's a contender.
Okay.
I won't say that it's going to be game of the year, because we got still a lot of games coming out that are going to probably be coming under the radar that we don't know about, that's going to surprise a lot of people this year. And I'm really that one game that is going to be like a Dead Space. The Calypso. Was it Calypso Protocol?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not coming out this year.
Yeah, I don't know if it's coming out this year or next year, but we still got the what you call it, and it may come out this year. The Monkey King game.
That's right.
That might come out this year. We don't know. And there was rumors that it might be like a Souls-like game, and I hope it's not. But again, we got so many games that are going to be coming under the radar. We don't know what's going to happen next. So I will say that, yeah, Elden Ring is a contender, but then Horizon Forbidden West is a contender also.
Right. That's true.
So far, like those two games are in the top. If I was to pick the top 5, those will be in the top 5.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay. That's fair enough, dude. That's fair enough. I like that, man. To piggyback off of you, Smoke, man, like you talking about Elden Ring. This one game I'm playing that is, see, I'm not like a Souls or a Bloodborne player, man. So I was like, man, I want to get into Elden Ring. I was like, crap, but just to, like I said, it's a hard but a forgiving kind of a game. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to kind of go on the parallel of that. So for me, I was playing a very hype MMORPG. Matter of fact, Paige, I think you're going to enjoy this game, really. And I know a lot of people has, man. It's like a phenomenon, kind of, really. It's called Lost Ark. Lost Ark is so much fun. Now, I'm usually like a Final Fantasy 14, player and all that too. Like I, play hours and hours, hundreds of hours into that MMO. But then here comes Lost Ark, and my friend actually got me into it. And I'll tell you right now, man, that Lost Ark is a thing of beauty. Like seriously, it is a thing of beauty. You gotta play it, man. I mean, it's the same thing. You get to pick whoever you want, man. As far as like, class and all that too. You can be a martial arts. You can be, a mage, you know what I mean? You could be a gunslinger. And just the story is so vast. There's so much to do. I'm telling you right now, the only thing that I would say that's a down on this game is it's going to be a lot of running around from like different places. You know what I mean? Like there's different continents, you know what I'm saying? And so when you're doing like different quests, I'm going to say that you're going to have to, the best thing is fast travel. I'm glad they have fast travel, but if you don't, you got to really get to those fast travel points to activate and all that too. If you don't, you're going to have to run back or take a horse back or something like that. So it's going to be a lot of, I remember my buddy talked about it. It was like 60% running around, you know what I'm saying? And 20% battle, as you can see here, you know what I mean? You get to do various types of attacks depending on your character. And of course, this is skill level, skill tree that you can upgrade as well. To me, I feel like this is a great replacement for those that have been off, like myself, has been off of Final Fantasy 14. This is a great replacement, I'll tell you, man. I'm not going to stop playing Final Fantasy 14, by the way. That's a little footnote right there. But this to me, I've been hooked on this game ever since. Like seriously, as he talked about Elden Ring. But I've been hooked on this game ever since, And I guarantee you that, like, since Paige, since you are a RPG person, I feel like since you are that person, you are going to be hooked on it, guaranteed. Now I thought I was going to be hooked on it, but I guarantee you that it's a game that once you touch it and kind of dive into the story, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful, man. Like seriously, just the boss battles, man. You gotta make sure that it's not like a button mashing. You gotta dodge. You gotta know when to attack. You gotta know the pattern of certain bosses. I'm not gonna spoil it all, man, because the whole game is spoiled. But you gotta do a whole bunch of attacks, man. You gotta line up your attacks, man. You gotta know where to attack as a class. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know what? I'm a martial artist, man. I'm going to go around the back of this boss and commit the most damage, man, because again, there's certain places that you can commit most damage, like behind a person, you know what I'm saying? For gunslingers, it's in front. For like, mages, what I mean? It's a lot of technical stuff going on in that game, and it's so worth it. So, Lost Ark, I'm gonna tell you right now, Lost Ark, see, the funny thing is with Lost Ark, I think Lost Ark was first a Korean game. It was like maybe a few years ago, you know what I mean? It migrated over here. And then all of a sudden just became a cultural phenomenon. I don't think it's going to be like a typical game of the year. I think it's going to be like an indie game of the year. Well, I don't know. It's by Amazon Games, basically. So I don't know if you would count that like indie game of the year or but it's going to.
Well, who's the developer? aside from the publisher, who developed it?
The developer is God, if I can get the Korean developer, man, I'll get that.
The thing I love the most is that looking at that game, when you strip everything away from it, you realize that that's just Gauntlet, right?
Basically.
I mean that in a really good way. It's just funny that the Gauntlet sort of formula has stuck around for all these years, man. It's really cool.
Wizards will always need food.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm telling you, man, there is so much. But yeah, like, you know, Civ, you're right. It's like a copy paste for sure. You know what I mean?
No, and I mean it in a good way. If a formula works, go with it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So Lost Ark, man, I've been playing that faithfully and just religiously to this point, man, that it's like I don't think I would be addicted to another game, you know, since Final Fantasy 14, man. But Lost Ark takes it, man. So yeah, definitely give Lost Ark. If you haven't tried Lost Ark, try it at your own risk. That's what I'm gonna say, at your own risk, because like I said, it's going to consume so much time from you. And yeah, they follow the same format as Final Fantasy 14, as a lot of MMOs, I guess, nowadays. They follow the same format, man. So if you're familiar with Final Fantasy 14, then Lost Ark is up your alley. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. But yeah, that's me. You know what? Paige, let's go to you real quick. Let's go to you before we go to Civic. Paige, what have you been playing?
I have been playing Yakuza 4. I finished last week. Started 5. I'm not that far into the game. I'm only in chapter 1, part 4, but I've spent about 20 or so hours doing stuff. Like I got to do my job. I got to be a taxi cab driver. I've had to help some people out.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. And I have some other stuff I'm playing, but it's just so satisfying.
Well, let me ask you this, Paige. Have you did you just play 4 and 5, or have you started like a Yakuza 0?
No, I started with 4.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm gonna do 5, and then I'm gonna do 0.
Right, and then go up. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I got it all planned out.
Nice.
Like, I'll do the flashback after this story, because I'm still, I still want to be down with these guys right now at this point in their lives. But yeah, like I love the fighting. I love when you get those heat moves off. It is so satisfying. Because especially like this one more so than the last one, they seem a lot smoother, and they sort of like you can make them happen a lot easier.
Right.
And like I said, I'm still just on him. He's the first guy, and that's what I've spent 20 hours with him, and I don't even think I'm close to finishing his chapter. But you know what? He'll be maxed out. I also played that. I played the demo, or at least I played a little bit of the demo for Strangers in Paradise, the Final Fantasy.
Oh, how you like that?
I did not.
What? Really? Really? Okay. All right. I got to pick your brain though. Like, what you want to like about it?
Okay, so I played it for about 20 minutes. So my first issue is that the layout of the buttons, like the fighting seems like it's really cool,
right?
But it uses the triggers a lot for fighting, for like punching and hitting. And I've been playing a lot of Yakuza,
right?
So my hands, my muscle memory is someplace else, and it literally just drops you in, and it doesn't tell you what to do. It doesn't tell you what button to hit. So like the first fight, I don't even know if I did anything or if it happened automatically. Like I just had no clue what was going on. It was so hectic.
Right.
And then it finally, like you get into like you're in a castle, and the main guy, Jack, really doesn't like chaos. I don't know what chaos is. I just know he doesn't like it because he says it like 20 times in a minute. And then you do this like weird tutorial. But then once you finish, it was a weird tutorial because you know how normally in a tutorial you don't die? Isn't that like kind of the thing?
Yeah. So you...
I'm sorry.
I'm looking at my health bar and it's going down, and I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense. Well, how do I get more health? So I try to open a menu and nothing's happening. And then I finally realized I have a couple of potions. So I use the potions, but then I run out of potions. And then when my health eventually does run out, I come back, but I only have health. But I'm like, this is just a tutorial. When the game starts, I should be fine. No, I started the game with like half health and no idea how to replenish my health. And it's so weird. Like this is where I stopped playing. It's mostly missions. It's very linear. At least this is what it appears. It's like once you pass that weird opening, you just go on missions. There's no open area like you would expect in a Final Fantasy game. There's just a map. If you want to talk to people, like you do meet some what should be NPCs like in the opening, but the only way to interact with people is via the map.
Okay.
So on the map, there'll be markers, and you click the marker, and that person will just say something totally random that has nothing to do with what you're doing, lore, or anything like that. So I don't know what exactly this game is supposed to be, but I'm not feeling it. I'm gonna have to see more to but as of right now, like I think I'll wait for see some more playthroughs, see if there's maybe something I'm missing.
Right.
But yeah, not really feeling that. And the other game I'm playing is this thing called Lost in Random.
Lost in Random, okay.
It's this really interesting indie game where you're in this world where the roll of a dice decides where you're going to be in society, and the only person that's allowed to roll the dice is the queen. But there used to be this race of dice wielders, and this starts with this little girl and her sister. They roll the dice and they take her off to the town where the queen lives, and it just wants her sister back. And you find along your way you find a die, but the battle system is really weird. It's like it's totally random. You have these cards, and once you build up enough in your deck, you throw the dice, and then that's how, like, if you need to heal, your heal powers are there, or your your weapons, and you pull that. And it's kind of like you kind of sort of have to see it because it's kind of hard to explain, because I don't think I've ever seen anything like this, but it's actually kind of fun. And the worlds, as you can see here, they're very Tim Burton-esque, weird.
I was just about to say that. Yep.
So they're very neat. But it's cool. Like at each town is a number. So she's a oneer. They're like the bottom of the barrel. The second town I went to was 2-town, and everybody there's this dual personality thing. And the most recent place I got to was 3 of them. And that thing that you saw, that's the shop. So it's like the thing in Resident Evil, like that guy,
right?
Except he sells you the cards, so you can get cards through like different actions, and you can buy them from that guy. And then he gives you like a book and sort of teaches you how to use the cards. But I'm only, like I said, I only am like sort of just getting into the 3rd town, but it's like you can see the design of it. The only drawback to it being an indie game is there's 2 big ones. One, there's no manual save, which is annoying.
Yeah.
So you have to really pay attention. Like the one workaround is that card guy, the shop.
Yeah.
If you go there, it'll always save.
Good. Okay.
So if you're thinking about, like, I think I'm going to end up in a battle or something, let me go stand over there so it'll at least save. The other thing is that it has no useful map.
So I don't know if you guys know, but this is actually based on a graphic novel. I don't know if you
Is it really?
Really?
Yeah, it's about a dice, a die. I think its name is Clay, and it was originally illustrated by a woman named Anne, because Anne drew Dice Clay.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh my God.
You know what?
Sif, I hate you so much, man. I hate you, dog.
All right, you know what?
I hate you so much. That was good. Freaking jerk. Know what, man? Listen, a round of applause for I like that, man. I like that. I can't with you, man.
That was good. I will give you that. That was good.
That was great, dude. That was great. But okay, you know what? Though? I got to pay attention.
I the whole time I'm like, do I do it? Do I say it?
You had to. That was perfect, dude.
Yeah. I mean, there were layers to it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I not my best material.
But that's what's up, though. Yeah. All right. So okay.
Yeah, but it's a fun game. It's a neat game. It's different, and like I really like the look of it. So
got you.
And apparently, it's won a couple of awards. So
do you know what game it reminded me of? It almost reminded me of Alice.
Yes,
Remember
yes.
that those games were great. They were really cool.
They're working on another one. Like they're trying to kickstart another one.
I heard that, but like it is like crowdfunded, right? Because I haven't heard anything official. I would definitely support that. It's a great franchise.
Yeah, I am also a big fan of that, and that's actually what kind of drew me to it was like the art style that's sort of like whimsical but dark, because that's kind of my jam.
You're spot on with the Tim Burton thing. It really does look like a Tim Burton production.
Like I said, the map thing is the thing that I'm like, because you get so turned around, and the one bad part is you can't, once you leave an area, you can't go back. So if you miss anything, you have missed it. So I was trying to use a guide. I'm like, I at least, want to make sure I do the side quests, because there aren't that many of them. It's not like this huge open world area. It's like, but I want to make sure I want to see everything this game has to offer, because it's kind of unique. And I get so turned around. But the other thing is, it's not a lot of guides online for it. So, I'm trying to slowly work my way through it so I don't miss anything.
Got you. Okay. I like that.
What's up?
I like that. I like those choices. I'm gonna check that game out too, man. Because like I said, I love that art style to that game, man. So it's when you said Tim Burton, neat. I was like, this is a Tim Burton game. I was like, it gotta be Tim Burton. I'm looking for it, but you know what? You're right. It's got a Tim Burton art style. So I kind of want to. I'm definitely interested in that too. But Civ, how about you, man? What you been playing these days, man?
Yeah, it's kind of coincidental that all four of us are playing all these RPGs. But same thing with me.
Nice.
Playing Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch.
Nice.
And thus far, I'm really disappointed because I haven't seen Ann Coulter in that game once. I'm sitting here going, what the hell, Studio Ghibli? Where's the White Witch? And she's, I don't know. But no, it's a great game. And this game came out 2 console generations ago. It was on the PS3. I did not play it back then. I saw a lot of footage of it. I knew everybody else was playing it. So I knew there was going to be a remake of it. So that's the one I'm playing now. It's the PS4 version, which is basically like the remaster. And man, it's really cool. It's different than a lot of other RPGs you play because deceptively so, it has sort of like this, obviously this cartoony sort of whimsical childhood look to it, but it's like super complicated, like not complicated, complex.
Okay.
There's just there's a lot of moving parts to it, lots of different things to explore. You fight in tandem with all these other playable characters, these familiars. You can see that character that's standing behind, your character who, these various familiars, these sidekicks, they have different attributes, things like this. And there's a lot of them that you can find in this game. Each one has their own, special abilities, strengths, weaknesses, stuff like that. But I will say this, and I don't mean this as a spoiler. I'm not going to give away a plot point, but everybody talks about how sad the opening moments of the original The Last of Us were. Yeah. It's got nothing on this game.
Really? Okay. All right. Okay.
This game goes dark quick. Yeah. I was really shocked. I didn't see it coming, and I was really. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't know if I've just been in a weird mood lately, but it hit me. Like the first couple, like I'd say about half an hour into this game, like it takes a twist, and you're just kind of like, oh dang, like stuff just got real, and it's a lot of fun. The acting in this is amazing. Like the voices, it's so cool. I think everybody, if you're familiar with this game, what's it? Drippy is your kind of like your main sidekick. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't want to give away plot points, but he's just got, here he is. There's my man. Yeah. The dude with the light, the little lantern in his nose.
Right.
Most of the animation, I think, if not all of it, is based on Studio Ghibli work. They've done all that. There's cutscenes there, which are, basically hand-drawn animations. And then there are other ones like this that are, they're 3D rendered that are still based upon that art style. It just looks super cool.
You know what, is this like, what is that, the like Miyazaki? Is this like a...
Yeah, it's in that house,
okay, all right. Yeah, the Miyazaki keeps covering my head. I'm like, is this a Miyazaki game? Like, what? Yo, this is actually pretty cool, dude. Like, for real. This is actually really good.
I haven't seen that end scene. Somebody, wow, he died. Hey, I haven't died yet in this game, but
I'm mad you lose all your money too. That's the thing.
Yeah, Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I don't want to do that, but yeah, it's a really cute game. I like it. It's different for me because I'm going to tell you, like, generally speaking, I'm not really like, how do I say it? Like, I like my RPGs a little more
Meaty?
Final Fantasy.
No, look,
VII.
I knew you was, man. You're not a. I was surprised when you said that, Steve. I was surprised. I played that. I'm like, but you like a. You know, I want to play kind of a burly RPG. You know.
Yeah, I'll give anything a chance. I don't discriminate. But like, I love like the beefier, the more like over the top anime. If it's an anime game, I like the more like serious looking, like adult style anime. But this game is cool. Also, I just don't usually play games where like young kids are the protagonist.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know why. I don't think it's a thing with me. Sometimes I just don't know if I can take it seriously sometimes, but then I play it and then I prove myself wrong. So it's good to keep an open mind. So, but this game, I mean, you look at like the top 100 games of the last, like, you know, how many decades, and most lists will have Ni no Kuni in it. Like, that game really went over huge. Now, it didn't win like Game of the Year or anything like that, but it was nominated. It was up there. And you can definitely see why. It's a really solid game. The story is amazing. It's just different than anything else. Like, it's so different than a lot of RPGs.
Right.
Yeah, that was something I definitely played that back when it came out. Specifically for that reason, was because it was different. It was funny because around that same time, have you ever played any of the Tales of games?
Yes.
Yep.
I had played Tales of Graces, which also has an opening like that where, you know, everything's going kind of fine, and then suddenly it's not, and you're like, but this, what, it didn't look like this was that kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
right.
But it's that kind of game.
Yeah, don't let the box art fool you. I mean, it goes dark quick, but that's a Studio Ghibli thing.
Right.
That's kind of their MO. Like, I mean, you know, I'm sure they had a hand in the storyline and all that, but I mean, it's really cool. There are moments. It's an emotional roller coaster. In fact, like, the entire plot line is really kind of about like humans coping with things, and, you know, the emotional effect of various things, and, you know, brokenheartedness and depression and loss, and it touches like on all these you know, underpinned bigger themes. So it's really cool. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun, and that game's like super cheap now. You can find it brand new for like under $10, probably like on Amazon right now. So definitely, if you haven't played it, check it out. It's really cool.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely would check that out, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, one more thing. The soundtrack, I think, is performed by I'm gonna get this wrong. I think they're the Tokyo Philharmonic.
Okay.
Might be Japan Philharmonic. I'm sorry, I don't remember. I only saw it during the opening credits. I have to look it up. I think it's Tokyo Philharmonic. But man, the soundtrack is amazing. It is really, really good.
And that's what I love. Okay.
It's like cinematically good. Like, these ebbs and flows in the music. It's really, really good. So yeah, also another reason to pick it up. It's really good.
Okay. Definitely have to check that out. Man. Dude, that's what I'm saying. So we've been all pretty much grinding on RPGs, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's I feel like this is an RPG episode, to be honest with you, man. It's like the RPG kind of season anyway, you know what I'm saying, as far as you know, the games that are coming out these days. And I don't know what you got, Paige. What do you got?
I've got, I don't know if you can see that. What?
There you go.
Oh, is that the Chrono?
Cool.
Yo.
That's cool.
Dude,
it needs a battery, so I just keep it at that time.
Dude, I want that. I want that so badly.
It ran out of mana.
Ran out of mana. Speaking of mana, listen, you know, Square Enix was that's a good segue. You know, we're talking about since Square Enix did their little, you know, celebrate the 30th anniversary and all that too, and then we were talking about with the Mana series, and they also had like conferences left and right. I mean, Square Enix is doing this thing. They're actually talking about since we're showing love to RPGs. Especially for your mobile. Now, honestly, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Like I said, mobile gaming is still, I guess, the top gaming, you know, as far as like, you know, ways of gaming to this day. So right now, Square Enix noticed that they put out pre-registration is going on live right now for Echoes of Mana. Now, Siv, I know you're a Mana. You play a lot of Mana games, man. Have you seen this announcement of this trailer, man? What is there anything you can, or is like any thoughts that you can, you know, say about this Mana game, man? Because it looks good, man. For mobile, it looks really good.
Yeah.
Dude.
It looks really cool. I guess my only question was I'm sort of surprised, from what I saw, it almost looks more of like a turn-based thing where like a lot of the mana games were not. They were kind of like, sort of like the free roaming, active time sort of system. I don't know. I've only seen the footage that you're showing, and to me, it looks more like Final Fantasy, like an older Final Fantasy, like a Final Fantasy VI kind of game.
Right.
But the art style is very much like the mana games. So I mean, I'm all about it. It looks cool. I give anything a chance. Again, just be open minded. But I love like some of the stuff they're doing on mobile. I'll get it on mobile, but I hope that they make more of an effort to port it to like a console, because that looks like it can be easily done. Like I get kind of like, as a game collector, that's kind of my beef, where I'm like, okay, I'd rather have a physical game. If I can't have a physical game, I'll download it onto a console or PC. But the mobile game thing, those games kind of are, like they're not really built to last super long sometimes. Like this generation of, mobile technology, it'll work and everything, and then they'll kind of abandon it. And then that game is kind of like lost. It becomes like vaporware. So I hope that like they start to think about like long-term, getting these games out on other platforms where you can collect them and you can play them on a bigger form factor. And, but no, that's my only concern. But,
okay.
Yeah, I know that they have ported other, like particularly like Square Enix, they've ported other mobile games to console, and sometimes like mixed results. Like some people don't like them. I mean, I could cite examples. I'm not here to bash them, but it looks cool. I'll definitely try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long has it been since the last Mana game too? It's been.
Yeah.
Wow,
man. Yeah.
It's been a couple years.
Yeah, it's been long overdue. Like seriously. To Paige, I don't know if you are like a Mana player, or have you
I have not played one since Secret of.
Okay.
So yeah, that
great.
was forever.
Yeah, see.
As a matter of fact, I played Secret of Mana before I played my first Final Fantasy game.
Okay. Nice.
I think I don't even know how that happened. It just did. And then I was like, oh well, okay, Square. Okay, I'll try another game by these guys.
Yeah.
And that was how I became their bitch, shall we say.
back on the Super Nintendo, you had a lot, like Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana came out almost kind of like in that same time frame. And whereas everybody else was going off about like Chrono Trigger, which is still one of the greatest games ever made,
yes,
I was still in the Secret of Mana camp. Like I don't know, I think that's just the one that I picked because I knew everybody else was playing this. Like my friends had the other one, so I'm like, I'm just gonna do something different, and that's why I've always been like in the Mana camp. Although again, I love Chrono Trigger.
Right.
So I played Secret of Mana before Chrono Trigger.
Got you.
I definitely played it before it. Like, I think that was when I think I might have still been at the video store. So I was like, I had like access to games before we put them out for people to rent. Because we decided we were going to, my friend and I that worked there, we said we'd write a newsletter about games, but we'd have to take the games home to play them, to review them. So, we might get a new game, but the store might not see it for a month or two while we finish the game. But yeah,
do you remember like the first RPG you ever played?
Ooh.
Well, I mean, it's not an RPG though, but it has sort of
the definition of RPG has changed over time, because when it came out originally, the first Legend of Zelda was called an RPG.
Right.
Nowadays, you would look at that as no, it's an adventure game.
Right.
It's an action. It's almost like an arcade version of an RPG. But I mean, we get hung up on labels too much, but I still consider it.
I think the first thing I probably played that had elements were like talking to NPCs, Simon's Quest.
Okay.
The first Castlevania game I played. I remember, excuse me. I remember I was playing it, like I borrowed it from the video store. I was playing it that Christmas. I got a Nintendo, bought it so I could finish it. And that started me. I was like, oh, now I have to play. There are other Castlevania games, I must play them. But I think it was those particular elements about in that game, because that one's not like the other ones. But I did like that, being able to interact with things. I'm like, oh. And then after I got the Nintendo, the next thing I played was Zelda because it came with it. And that was probably what I would consider to be my first role-playing game would have been Zelda at that point.
See, that's weird. Like, see, when you think about like, okay, RPG, like you saying like, okay, is it, turn-based? Is it action? Like we can go back to like Kingdom Hearts. We can go,
you know what it probably would be? It would be those text-based adventure
like
games.
Zork.
Yeah.
Not Zorg. Like I would play things on my Mac SE2, like The Uninvited. So there was like images, like stuff like that. That was probably like that. That was, I mean, you played a role. There were a lot of late nights in my dorms playing those games.
No, that game counts. That counts. Totally. Shadowgate, those games.
Shadowgate, yeah.
All those. Absolutely, I agree.
Dang.
Yeah.
Sheesh, man. See,
Going back.
Yeah, y'all went way back, man. See, I'm thinking about like, what have I played that's like has RPG elements? I mean, like I said, if you want to count, I don't want to count Legend of Zelda, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like I know, like again, I'm still the youngest of the group, but
you don't count it or do count it?
I don't count it as an RPG. It's
the reason I count it as the reason I do count it. One is because of the length of the game itself.
Right.
Because I think that's part of it. Two, I think because it has those traditional elements of like, finding things. Here's a puzzle, sword fighting, exploring an area. And in fact, it almost was like the first MMO. Not without the open world part. Well, without the multiplayer part, it was open world. It was like it was almost borderline sandbox. It was very open world. It was nonlinear. You do level up.
Well,
you do talk to NPCs.
Right.
You do have boss fights. I mean, like at what point you're like, it is a quest game. So I'm like, I consider it kind of a.
I guess so. I mean, like, you think about what some of the factors that of an RPG, like, definitely leveling up. You definitely have like maybe a party with you, or would you say that you, or you could be alone? I don't know. Like, it depends on the person's preference. And it's just, I guess. If it's open world, I mean, then that's a lot of games that we can fit into that category per se. So we can say that there's certain action adventure games that does have RPG elements for sure. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't consider them being a typical RPG game. I guess it's just the way you would grow. I get like, or the way you've been playing. Like for instance, like me, I love turn-based. I love turn-based RPGs. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's me. Like, okay, you with a 3 or 4 man party, you're going back and forth, and then like you kind of getting to know the character or whatever and all that too, and then you kind of level up the skill tree and then do all this kind of technical stuff to the character. That's that. You know what I mean? Compared to, let's say, Kingdom Hearts, which is an action RPG. You know what I mean? That you do have Sora, Donald, Goofy. You know what I mean? And you do level up during certain fights and all that too. So I guess it depends on the person's preference, really. I can't even go back to what would be my first RPG, man. I mean, I can't see. I wasn't into RPGs until like maybe if you want to go back and say Final Fantasy 6 or 7. You know what I mean? That would probably be my first, exposure to RPGs. And then that's it. But that's just me, man. So I'll smoke. What about you, man? I know you can go way back as far as RPGs.
I've had like. Okay, so I've had 3 different versions. I had that 3 different, I say RPGs. Before Final Fantasy 7, that was the mainstream one that was more notoriety. But the ones prior to that, I had a modded PS1. Like I had a modded PS1 where I was able to play Japanese games. So 2 of the games that I got, one of them was Devilman, and the other one was Yamato, which is based on Star Blazers. For those who don't know, Yamato 2199 and so on, the series and all. But to the old school guys like myself and Paige and Civ, it's known as Star Blazers. Well, it came out with an RPG when you're basically flying the Yamato, and it's basically you're doing the storyline, but it's an RPG version. Let me just say like this. Because everything was in Japanese, I had to go out of my way to find and this is when I was looking up stuff and printing out basic walkthroughs and translations of what everything meant and everything else. And so I got a chance with that and Devilman. Now I never got a chance to complete them because again, you're so much in awe because I was just first off I was tripping that I was able to get both these games, both Devilman and Yamato.
Right.
But the fact that I'm having the English translation of how to play the game and all, because again, I was like contacting me, and again, we're talking of like really way in the beginning. And then Snatcher was another one that I had on my Saturn.
Okay.
And Saturn for me,
Oh,
you and I talked about that before with Snatcher and stuff. And I would say that has RPG elements. To me, it was an RPG. But for mainstream, for me, the first time out for doing something mainstream would have been Final Fantasy VII. Because you can't really say that Resident Evil 7 was RPG. You can't say that. Even though there's certain games that have certain RPG elements, but you can't consider them as RPG.
Right.
But like I said, again, the games that I played, I was trying to break my neck to get anything I could, especially if it was overseas, especially if they didn't have it here. I was trying to get my hands on. So I had a lot of, like Dragon Ball Z, it was another game that was an RPG game for Dragon Ball that, and this is before anyone, for Cartoon Network, before anybody knew what Dragon Ball, before Dragon Ball became a household name. I was one of the few people that was into Dragon Ball way before it even came out here to the States. So, people were like, well, damn, you got these guys who are bigger than life throwing these big ass bombs and blowing up half the city.
Yeah.
And again, but they had an RPG game that followed the storyline, and they had the different chapters, of course. And this is like, at that time when I was playing it, that Dragon Ball RPG, I think this is when, I think of that time, I think that's after Gohan got killed and everything in the beginning. Spoilers, I don't care. If you haven't watched Dragon Ball, then that's on you. But, he gets killed the very first time. And I think it led up to, it led up to that. But like I said, again, I was playing an RPG version of that. So I had different RPG games because, again, overseas, they had a lot of RPG games. It was just that because I was one of the first kids on my block to have a modded PS1 that I could play Japanese games, and I was ordering them online and I was going through my connections. I was exposed to that early. So that's one of the reasons why, like, it's hard to talk about them now because it's like, and to this day, I'm still now going back because I lost those games a long time ago. I'm going back trying to look online to find those set games, just to have them in my collection. Like I just found Cowboy Bebop is another one. Like I had a Cowboy Bebop PlayStation 2 RPG game. I have that in my collection.
Nice.
And a lot of people don't know. Like it's been talked about, but it's an RPG game, the Cowboy Bebop RPG game, which I have. But again, it's all Japanese, so I had to get the cliff notes on that.
Right.
So there's certain games, Evangelion, another game that's RPG, and Nintendo 64 RPG, Neo Genesis Evangelion. Again, I was able to mod my N64, had the cartridge, and mind you, this cartridge game was before anything that came out. It was before its time. And this thing played the entire original series all in one game, but it was RPG. And so, I mean, in the graphics and everything, but again, RPG elements, you needed to have the Japanese cliff notes in order to get through it. You knew some of the game, but you had to like basically work your way. Again, this is stuff that I'm into.
Yeah.
That, like now it's become like, oh yeah, but it's hard to find these games. It's hard to find them.
That's
nowadays.
true. That's true.
Or they're high in price,
Yeah, that's a good point. But see, now with the love of RPGs that you all have, apparently for sure, even going back to what we're talking about with the release of Echoes of Mana, would you consider playing this on mobile? Would you consider being a mobile gamer? Especially with RPGs coming out, just like Echoes of Mana. Yeah.
Hell no.
No, it's not for you.
Here's my reason why. Now that's why I let you guys talk about the whole mobile phone. I am not a big fan of mobile phone game.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of these games. I love like Marvel's Champions, Consoles of Champions.
That's a good one. Yep.
I hope one day they bring these games to consoles, because again, it's a waste that you have to have these on a freaking phone, and I can't even play it in the private sim. And again, they got so many characters, and I'm like, oh my god, why can't they put this game on the console? Holy crap! But because they don't, and like, and the good point that Brian Civ made was because phones change every couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be dropping all that the downloadable content on your own and lose that eventually. What if your phone breaks? Your phone, I already been down that road already. My phone break. I lost all that. Man, I'm like, no.
I'll give you a case in point. A couple of years ago, they had a version of, there was a Dead Space game just for mobile. And it was, it was this really good. It played well. It was an early, I don't know if it was available on iPhone, but it was on Android, and I had it, and it was considered canon. Like the storyline was canon, and you played it. It was relatively short, but it was pretty cool. And now that game is vaporware. It's gone. You can't play it. It is now unavailable. Even if you purchased it before, you can't download it on your new phone. Even though a new phone probably has the technical specs to play it, they just don't service it anymore. So it's gone. You bought it. You played it. Maybe you played it. Hopefully you played it, and then it's gone. It's lost into the ether. And that's the disappointing thing. I mean, you get a lot of really good games, a lot of simple games that deserve better. Like, mobile gaming is great for what it is. I play some mobile games. A lot of them are really good. A lot of them are really, really good.
Right.
A lot of them are crappy. But a lot of them really are top-notch games. And I just hope that they get the attention that they get, and they receive the longevity they deserve. Because there's nothing worse than buying something and then just having it be gone. At least in, with consoles or like a PC or something like that, if you get the game, even if you buy it on Steam, if you buy it on PlayStation Network, you do have it. I know people argue the semantics that you don't really own it. You do. You have access to it at will. You can re-download it later. For the most part, for all practical purposes, as long as your machine is still working, as long as your account is in good standing, you didn't delete your account, you're okay. You have it. I mean, but don't split hairs over that.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not the same with mobile gaming. You can lose it. It will be gone. And there's nobody you can cry to about it. I don't know. I just wish, I just hope they do a good job of curating some of this, because some games do deserve to be around for a lot longer than
that's true. That's facts. That's facts. Paige, how about you? Are you a mobile gamer yourself, or?
Not like, if I play anything on mobile, it's usually like, relaxing games or like card games. It's like something I play before I go to sleep, because, I don't have, it's what I have next to me. I've tried in the past to play, more dynamic games with the phone, and it's just not the medium for those types of games for me. Like, I would much prefer to play them on a console or even a computer. Like, I'll play something on a laptop before I would, probably play it on a mobile.
Got you. Well, like I said,
But I mean, I'd at least look at it. Like, if I was going somewhere and needed something to do for, like my travel time, I would look at something like that to play.
That's understandable. Well, like I said, all in all, Echoes of Mana looks like it's shaping up to be compared to, Square's other free-to-play mobile games. So whether or not you feel that's a good thing will come down to personal preference. But it is definitely free-to-play on mobile with, of course, microtransactions. And that's if you.
Hi, Gunther.
Hi, Gunther. That cat's like, I don't like mobile games either.
This is Gunther, Princess Gunther. Her name is Gunther.
Hey, Gunther. I like that. I don't
know where Nanaki is, like my one-eyed boy.
Yeah.
Not his slave name.
Yeah.
That's right. We don't say Red 13 around here.
That's right.
Oh,
he's Nanaki.
Yeah, you got that right, man. So we know that previously, March 10th, we celebrated Mario Day. It's a big celebration, as far as us gamers go, man, that Mario has impacted our lives. And I want to actually ask everybody, like, how has the beloved character impacted your life? And to throw it in, like, your favorite Mario game of all time that you've played. I think about the going back in time. Like I'm gonna start off because again, like I said, I always think about the memory and the privilege that we had. Of course, thanks to the great people like Great Philly Comic-Con, Smoke as well too for setting it up, man. Me and Civic had the privilege to talk to Charles Martinet and Kenny James, man, who was the voice of Mario and Bowser. If you definitely want to check that out, man, I know there's some video out there with our interview. That was fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. Like to sit down and have those impact. I don't know, Civ, you remember any like notes from talking to those guys, man, that was like that just stood out to you or like that was really impactful,
The one thing was just the overall feeling that they really both have a genuine love for the characters. And I think it's really cool that, especially with Charles Martinet, I mean, he's really made this a career of his. And, he's done other work, he's done other voice work, but like, I mean, he now is definitively Mario.
Right.
He'll do the voice, you'll hear it. He's very much all about embodying the positivity of the character. He's just a great guy. Super fun. And it's funny too, because, you think of Mario is like a short character, very small, like kind of a diminutive little plumber guy. Whereas like Charles Martinet, he's like 6'4".
He's a big dude.
So he's like tall. And it's like it's not the voice that you would think that would come out of that guy, or not the look of the guy that you would think that would generate the voice. But to his credit, he's such a great guy. And same thing with Kenny James. I mean, they just have this great banter, this great rapport. Speaking to those guys, man, it was a real pleasure. They were just a lot of fun. Now, I'm not saying that they hold a candle to Chris Pratt, because I think we've all come to realize. I was just about to go there. I mean, listen, I can't sometimes I look at Mario and I look at Chris Pratt and I'm like, I can't tell the difference. They're indistinguishable in my mind.
Wait, do you want Chris Pratt to play Mario?
No, I don't want Chris Pratt to play anything anymore. I'm done with that guy. He is a very overrated actor. We need to start calling it how it is. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan.
Well, remember, he's going to use he's not going to use the Italian voice. He's going to use his New York accent.
His New York accent.
Movie. That's what they said. He's going to be in a New York accent. Dude. Mario is not Italian. He's from New York, and I'm like,
he's not my Chris, so I'm not. I don't have a fight in this.
I don't find him to look. I don't dislike the guy, but I don't see his appeal. I'm sorry.
Right.
I don't know that he's very. I don't know how he became the flavor of the month, but whatever. Okay, look. Hey, cool. You like him? Yay, Star-Lord. Cool. Hey, yeah. I could do dance off.
He's the reason why we had to snap. So I always go back to. He was one of the reasons why we hit the.
I don't think we could talk about movies, to the cows come home.
Oh, God,
I don't think
no.
I don't think he was particularly. Yeah, Nick just pops in.
I can see Nick. Did someone say movie? Yeah, I know.
Movies. Are you keeping Nick in your basement?
No. Hey,
it puts the lotion. and it's the hose again.
And I'm sorry. Shout out to Nick, but I am going to talk about Harry Potter later on. So, Nick, I'm sorry, but I was going to be talking about it anyway. Get over yourself.
So you want to talk about the impact of Mario for me? I'll keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
So after coming up as long as I can remember, I've always loved video games. And when the market crashed in the early 80s, I mean, I was a young kid still, and I felt heartbroken when all of a sudden I realized, I'm like, wow, video games aren't being made anymore. Wow, my television is like obsolete. What happened?
Yeah.
There are no video games in stores anymore. I loved this hobby and now it's dead. So for me, when you first saw Super Mario Brothers, when you first saw him running across the screen on a brand new console and looked really good, that was a moment of sheer hope and elation. You looked at that, it's like, wow, this is not dead. This is just the beginning. And that is why Super Mario Brothers, the first one, will always be my favorite Mario game. That game represented something to me. It made me hold on to like that dream that, this is going to be a hobby that's going to be around.
Right.
It had to stumble. But like Nintendo really was, and in a lot of ways still is, such a beacon of solidarity. They're going to be around. They're going to make this thing work. Like, look at this is quality that we never saw before in previous console generations. the third generation of gaming, it's going to save us all. And it did, more or less. And you can't overstate the importance of Super Mario Brothers. That is one of the most important games there ever was, because that drew people to buy the Nintendo Entertainment System, which ergo saved the entire industry. So honestly, it may be one of the most important games ever made.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to think about, like, it's like Pong, Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Super Mario Brothers.
Right.
Bang. There's your Mount Rushmore. Those four. They really, like, each one had such a major impact. It cannot be overstated. So yeah, that's my rant.
That's facts. That's
Thanks
facts.
for coming to my TED Talk.
That's facts. Paige, how about you? Any
Well, I can't follow that.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Now,
I mean, being a little older
mm-hmm.
when Super Mario Brothers came out, and not really having played much Nintendo past, I don't know, I played a little Wii, but not a lot. Like the latter half of my gaming life has been, there's, other than my DS, there hasn't been a lot of Nintendo. But when I think Nintendo, and when I, like you said, when I think about that sort of bounce back of the industry, that is what you think of. You
mm-hmm.
think of Super Mario Brothers. That was who we saw, like a little shining plumber angel,
mm-hmm.
floating on the scene. Like, hey, come over here and play with me. Okay. So I would probably go. Yeah, probably go with Super Mario Brothers.
Okay.
Super Mario Bros.
I saw. I like that. I like that. Okay. Smoke. How about you, man? Any?
Nintendo 64 Mario World for
yep.
me, because again, I played Mario a couple times on my Nintendo way back when, but I think it had more of an impact on me playing Nintendo 64 for the first time. And Mario World, I loved it.
Wait a minute, Mario World or Mario 64?
I mean Mario 64. Mario 64.
Oh, okay, all right.
And I was able to do more with him than I could have in a 2D world. I was able to do more with him in the 3D world. You're like, woohoo! You get to run around and stuff. And it was new. And for me, playing Nintendo 64 and you get Mario for the first time, and that was a big thing. Like, you get to play Mario in the 3D world, and and I got hung on the hype, and that was one of the first games that I really was like, okay, that was one of the first Mario games I really wanted to have. And I had a lot of fun with it. I played it for like a good couple months and all, but it was one of those games that left a nice impact on me. So for moving forward with any other games that came out since then, I was able to appreciate Mario more because I was able to play that 64. And I was glad because, again, other than, because to me, and Paige, you can understand this, to me, up until that point, all I kept seeing was Captain Lou Albano.
Yeah.
So that's all all I kept seeing them was doing that dance, that really, really crappy rap song.
Right.
Hey, I'm Mario. And all that stuff. And I just sat there like, wow, dude, really? So all I kept seeing is Captain Lou Albano. Now, if they had a DLC for Captain Lou Albano for Mario 64, I might have been like, oh, dude, I got to play that.
Yeah, right.
But it was hard for me to get my head around, wait, this is Captain Lou Albano as Mario. What the? And I mean, eventually it grew on me. And then you had later on the Mario Brothers game and all that stuff. But the movie, but again, that game for Mario 64 was always that game that left a positive impact on me.
Facts.
I wonder if someday Chris Pratt will play Captain Lou Albano in that biopic.
Actually,
he'll have the rubber bands in his ear and stuff. And
actually, I actually was on his cheek.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? There's a great recommendation. I kind of think I'm all for it. On Twitch, man, we have Chris O'Donnell as Mario, man. I feel like I see Chris O'Donnell more as Mario than Chris Pratt, man. I don't know, dude. Chris O'Donnell.
Robin.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about, Robin. This is also not 1991.
Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Why not? I think that looks good, man. You know what I mean?
I'm about to give you that Will Smith meme.
I'm about to maybe Danny DeVito. I'm gonna put Danny DeVito as a Goomba or something like that. But that's another story, man. Honestly, dude.
Actually, Danny Vito would play a good Mario.
Would play a good Mario? You know what? Yeah. Yeah, he would.
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, he would. No, see who
he would embrace it.
No,
he would totally get into it.
Yo, Smoke. See, Smoke. Now that Paige, I'm gonna go back. Who played Mario in that first Mario movie with John Leguizamo?
John Hopkins.
Okay. He was actually
Bob
Hoskins. Bob. Okay. I mean, he was actually. I mean, that was like that freaking movie grew on me.
All you gotta do is look at the Cotton Club. How you doing, lady?
They all were. Yeah, they were. It was a messed up set.
They were drunk?
I'll tell you who would make a good Mario. Hear me out, and I don't mean this as a joke. You're going to think I'm joking. You're going to want to laugh, but think about it before you laugh. Peter Dinklage.
Come on, man. Really?
I'm not kidding.
Really?
He can do any voice. He could embody the character. It would be cool to see like a character, because Mario, proportionately, if we're talking about his stature, he's always on the short side, but he's also like this, like he has like this strong presence. So it would be cool, like in a live action, if you had somebody that could like we've seen Peter Dinklage do it. Seen him in multiple roles where he's kind of like that, you know, he's got like that force to him. Like I'd love to see that. I think that'd be awesome. And you pair him up with somebody else that you know, proportionately could make him look the same way. Yeah. He's like literally half the size of Luigi most of the time when you see him. He's on the side.
Right.
So I'm serious. I just like Peter Dinklage. I think his work is
amazing. I can see that.
I just like to see a screen test of that and see how it play out.
I can see that. I'm a fan of him too, as well, too, man. So I can see him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Know, probably playing that role as well, man. See, the funny thing is, like going back to like memories I had, man. I mean, like I said, with the first impact was, of course, the first Super Mario Brothers with the Duck Hunt combo and all that kind of stuff too. And then, you know, like I said, that was my first instance of, you know, playing. Like that was my first game. You know, I touched that, and played it. And I couldn't beat it, but my sister, shout out to my sister, she was the first person to end the Mario game. I think I told you a story before. She was the first person to end the Mario game, and I was so pissed because I'm like, dude, who are you to end the Mario game before I did? You know what I mean? Like, yo, and I was young. I was crying like crazy, but that's another story. But I mean, like I said,
someday I'm going to get a Sega Genesis, and I'm going to be the master of all the Sonic games.
And that's how the birth of Knuckles. Let me stop.
That's your origin story, man. Look at that.
You gotta have that British accent, Mark.
Dude.
That's
British
how
oh my god, dude. Oh man, but yeah, that was my memory of Mario, man. But again, like I said, it was a privilege to actually talk to, you know, the OGs, man, to Charles Martinet and Kenny James, man. And I remember like even when Charles was talking about like when he got the role, I think they would ask him to do like, hey, you know, act like I thought it was an Italian pizza guy or something like that. You know what I mean? And he did that.
Well, I asked him the question. I said, what in your head was how he sounded before you made him sound like what he sounded? And he talked about like he stood in front of the mirror and he went through like these 50 different incarnations. And finally he kind of said, well, like I wanted to sound just sort of like a pizza delivery guy, like in the you know, in the South Bronx or whatever. And he just got in front of the mirror and started saying these words and doing it. And then I think he went in like the next day and first take, he's like, this is it. He just went right into character and they were like, that's it. That's perfect.
Right.
Like they didn't even consider anyone else after him. I mean, you can go back and look at the interview, but yeah, he was super dedicated and he had a definitive idea in his head of what Mario sounded like. And we all like instantly bought into it. Like I remember when we first heard Mario speak, nobody questioned it. Everybody was like, oh yeah, that's definitely how Mario would sound. Even though we already had the cartoon and like, you know, like Smoke brought up like the Captain Lou Albano, they did like the Super Mario Super Show. Was that Super?
Super Mario Super Show. Yep.
Yeah, it was the animated one. And obviously somebody else voiced him, but so like as soon as he started talking in the video game, we're like, oh yeah, of course that's how Mario sounds. You know, so instant hit. Yeah, Charles really, he hit it out of the park with that.
Yeah, and like I said, and with Kenny James too, man. I mean, I know Kenny's he's a character. I'll tell you.
I'm sorry, it just doesn't matter at this point. Like, why? It's already been talked to death, but like, why just couldn't they put Charles Martinet in the movie? Like, why? I mean, I don't understand. It just makes no sense. You're paying more money for a name like Chris Pratt, but hardcore gaming enthusiasts would much rather have Charles Martinet. And yes, I will speak on behalf of most gamers, because most gamers I've spoken to about it are like, yeah, we want Charles Martinet.
Right.
Why pay more money for? I don't know. The movie industry still hasn't learned, and they never will. I mean, they don't think we know what we want, is what it is.
Facts.
They will always say, yeah, Mortal Kombat, we know you have 60 some characters to draw from, but we're going to make this new guy called Johnny Kung Fu. He's a new character. We don't want that. We don't want that. Listen.
Oh my God, man. But like
Johnny
I said,
Kung Fu. I forget his name. Something like that.
but I hope that everybody actually celebrated Mario Day in their own way, and
I ate a bunch of mushrooms.
You ate a bunch of mushrooms?
Were they magic?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, you can see. Like, look at my head. It's all. See?
Listen, man. I just I had a whole bunch of Yoshi plushies, man, all around my crib, man, just scattered. So I'm good, man. Mario Day was really good for me, man. But last but not least, since we know this March was known for Mario Day for sure, but of course March is also Women's History Month. Now we're going to take the chance, take the last few minutes to talk about basically women video game characters that also pretty much impacted our lives, that we thought that were so cool, so down to earth, man. Like they were the toughest ones, man. And just a couple that comes to your mind. And Chad, I want you to actually interact as well too, man. Give me some of your favorite, even if it's an antagonist or protagonist. Let us know, So for sure, but let's. I'm gonna tell you real quick, because I'm gonna put these couple videos up there real quick. You know what I mean? For me, and I'm gonna go with antagonist or protagonist and antagonist as well too. I'm gonna give you two. You know what I mean? My first one I love is Sarah Kerrigan. Okay, Sarah Kerrigan. For those that don't know who Sarah Kerrigan is, you got to be a legit StarCraft fan. You know what I mean? She is pretty much like to me, she's the first lady of Bungie. Or not for Bungie, Blizzard. First lady of Blizzard. Sarah Kerrigan, of course, pretty much the protagonist in StarCraft turned antagonist. But she was so impactful. Honestly, dude, I love this character so much, man. As we play a little bit of clip of Sarah Kerrigan, man. Like you talk about war hero, and then of course her, team betrayed her and all that too, and then she became a Zerg queen, and then pretty much just came out and did wrath on everybody, man. And honestly, dude, she is phenomenal, man. I'm talking about before. Honestly, dude, I was gonna do like a March Madness kind of thing too, and put Sarah and like Samus, facing off against each other, because first of all, these two are powerhouses, man. Seriously, these two are powerhouses. But when Sarah got captured by the Zergs, and well, first of all, they just sacrificed her. I mean, not sacrificed. When her comrades pretty much just say, you know what, leave her, let her go. We're not going to save her, and she knew about that too. And then she's like, you know what, F y'all, I'm going to be the queen of the Zergs, man, and just wreak havoc. And to this is the part where it's like, yo, where's my pickup at? And she pretty much was like, you know what, I can't do this, man. And she turned out to be like the best character for, when you play as the Zergs and all that too. Like she was like the most OP character ever. I love her, man. That was my girl for real. First of all, that was my girl. So to me, that was the best. I also count her as a protagonist, you know what I mean? Because like I said, she was really cool when you used her in the first StarCraft, as a ghost. Her nuclear capabilities was phenomenal, man. Seriously. And plus she's awesome, man. Seriously, I love her to death. But I'm gonna tell you right now, contrast my favorite antagonist of all time. So you're gonna love this one, is definitely from Metal Gear Solid, Sons of Liberty, Fortune. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Fortune, even though they didn't show her so like any love really throughout the whole series. I mean, it's not like they gave her the Darth Maul treatment, man. It's like not enough story, you know what I mean? Not enough story. They could have built up, her. But dude, look at, first of all, man, she is freaking awesome with that railgun. With that railgun, when you see her,
understand. I never understood her name though, because she clearly only has one chin.
I hate you so much, man. But dude, Man, listen, dude. You talk about like, I mean, even though Black History Month is come and gone, man, but I'll still put her as like probably the baddest black antagonist ever. With a few others, man, but still, I mean, she was awesome, dude. She was phenomenally awesome, man. I don't know, like, yo, she's incredible. Like, seriously, if you don't know the story of Fortune, I advise you, please do that, man. Her railgun, that's all I love, man. I just want to see her railgun. I wish I can read Spanish, but her railgun is so amazing, dude. And she like makes work of anything that passes her way, dude. You really don't beat her. You know what I'm saying? You really don't beat. Am I confirming that, Civ? You don't beat her. It's just the cutscenes beat her.
That is correct. She is one of the very finite cases in the entire Metal Gear mythos that you don't really actually directly beat. And there's really the only other one I can think of is Decoy Octopus.
Right.
Only those two, because that Decoy Octopus is technically dead before you discover them.
Yeah.
There is no fight there. And she's the other one. So I think you might be correct in that.
Yep. But those two, man, I feel like if I had to, make it two, I could go with like Lara Croft and all that too. But I want to give a shout out to those two characters, those women characters that actually like made an impact, man. Because I mean, like I said, those are strong women, in the video game world, man, that were pretty cool. And I wish they had more story behind Fortune. They have a strong story behind Sarah, but I wish they had a more in-depth story behind Fortune, man. And actually, like, I don't know, maybe even giving her a spinoff, man, that'd be freaking good too, man. So that's my take. Paige, how about you? Any women in the video game world that you that were impactful to you, that were close to you?
Well, I'm gonna take Samus.
Yeah. Okay.
She's the most. I don't think it can be understated how important that tiny little moment is if you're a girl.
Right.
Especially at that time where you were a unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
You like video games, you're a girl. What are you doing? And at that moment to have and if we were in a video game, we were femme fatale, we were the backup carrier, we were the healer,
mm-hmm.
we were always the healer. And that one moment, it's like, no, not only can we be the lead character in a game, but we can be the most badass thing in the universe at the same time. And everybody in my house played that game. Like, I woke up in the middle of the night to find my roommate's boyfriend sitting in my room, like playing Super Metroid. Like, he's just like, oh, dude, sorry, just like, it's cool, I get it. So yeah, I can't in good conscience not go there. That, because for me, it was a moment. It was definitely a moment when that happened, and it was like, oh, okay. If you have the power to give this to me, then I expect more. Like, I want to see more, going forward. And I think it started there. Like, I think that was the moment that people started to say, like, yeah, chicks can lead video games and be badass.
Yeah.
Like, there's no Lara Croft without her. There's no anybody without her.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Absolutely, dude. And I agree with you on that one too. I feel like with anything, honestly, dude, with Samus, dude, it was like, and see, again, this is going back to, oh my God, remember the first Metroid? I know Civic and Smoke knows it well too, man, because honestly, dude, it was, ever since Samus unveiled herself and all that too, and was like, oh, it's a woman, oh snap, I didn't know, this is awesome, and all that. That just kind of blew all of our minds. Was that the first, I'm going to ask like all of y'all real quick, again, me being the youngest, was that the first instance of like a woman in the video game world, or in the video game, as a video game character, main character?
No, the first playable video game character that was female was Miss Pac-Man.
And she was a badass.
That's true. Yeah, good point. Okay, all right. So, but this was probably the most profound, character. Ever since like I say, the mission was done. Took a helmet off.
I think because it's when you look at the game itself, you're like, even as a girl, your default is, well, I'm just playing as a guy. It's a guy. And like I said, today that might seem like a weird thing to think, but it wasn't at the time. At the time, I mean, people don't realize that, like, when I was a kid, I didn't get cool Star Wars toys because George Lucas didn't make Star Wars for girls. He made it for boys. And he made that very, very clear that it was not for me, but screw you, I made it for me.
Right.
And it was so, the thing with Samus is it's so subtle. Like, it's just so, like, it's not, for me, equality is always, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm a woman. It's just she just is. She, and the fact that, like, for me, it was like, the representation matters. It's a woman, and she's a badass.
Facts.
And so many people around me, most people around me playing it were guys, and now it's like, dude, girls are cool. This is cool.
Yeah,
like,
facts. Yo, facts.
So,
that is definitely true. That's and of
but
course,
but not to take anything away from Miss Pac-Man.
Yep.
Miss Pac-Man.
What's the OG?
She was queen.
Amen to that, Paige. And it'd be like I said, Chad agrees with you too. Luna on Twitch says, that Samus is also her favorite as well. But Smoke, how about you, man? Any?
There's three actually. There's two from back when, and then one currently. The two I'm referring to is Jill Valentine and Claire Redfield.
Okay.
The Resident Evil series, because again, you had Lara Croft, you had all these colored characters, but for those two in a horror game that weren't your typical females that were like, oh my god,
right?
They were actually well-developed, well-rounded characters that can pair up with the guys, with Leon, with Chris, and so they weren't, they weren't just, paint by numbers against the wall, but they were, and eventually those characters developed and evolved even further. And then if we're going to talk about more currently, I would say Aloy from the Horizon series, because Aloy, you got to follow her story from the time she's a little girl all the way till she's adulthood. So the thing is about Aloy's character, because you see her going through a development and you see her going through the changes and all.
Right.
I'm not going to give, I would recognize other female characters, but the reason why I like Aloy's character, because again, she started out as a little kid, and you got to play her as a little kid in the game, and you get to see her as she grows up, and as she's still going through all these changes and everything else. So, and it made me want to like follow her story even further, and you got to be sympathetic, and without giving anything away in the new one, she's you see, like, you're like, wait, in the beginning you're like, wait a second, why is she being like, and then as you follow the story you're like, okay, and then something else happens, something gets revealed, and she's like, I'm like, wow, okay, I see a big difference. But again, I was able to follow her since she was a child. Right. Doesn't take anything from Lara Croft. She was there as eye candy in the beginning, and then eventually she evolved. The Jill and Claire, the same thing. They eventually became evolved characters, where you were to expand on their storyline, their mythos and all. With Aloy, you were right there from the beginning. From the time she was a kid, and so you got to follow her storyline right through the door.
Yep.
So that's one of the reasons why I was more invested as far as female character-wise, why I like her character. And again, it doesn't knock any of the other female characters, but the ones that stood out with me when as far as, Miss Pac-Man, 2D dimensional, it was like, okay, paste and copy, put a bow tie, put a bow on her. Okay, that's all well and good. But I'm talking about, I want a character that I can follow and I can be interested in their story. I want to follow what they're about. Jill and Claire were close to that, and the same with Lara Croft. But I wanted to follow their origin story, why they got to where they were, what made them join up with stars, what made Claire, and Chris Redfield's story. So again, and they elaborated on that. They did expand on that. But with Aloy, you got thrust right into her story right when she was a kid. So that's where I'm like, yeah, I'm more into her story than any other character that's. Now they got new story. They got other games coming out with other female lead characters that Forsaken is one of those games I'm looking forward to seeing and playing. It looks like it's going, and especially female character of color and everything else. So I want to see what they do with this. But
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Forsaken. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
That's right. Facts, man. Before we go to Civ, like I said, Chad is actually pretty much putting her inputs on Facebook, man. Marquita talking about, of course, Chun-Li. You got Princess Zelda, Lara Croft as well too. Kioske says Samus as well, and then which card? Of course, Teddy going to put Sniper Wolf in the mix, man. As far as Metal Gear,
yeah, that's a good one.
That was her. I actually liked her. I loved her, and I was kind of sad to kind of like I was like I don't want to fight you. I love you. I had that Otacon, that whole love thing. I was like I love you.
What am I fighting for?
Yeah, right.
What are you fighting for? If we live to the end of this, I'll tell you.
And Kioske on Facebook actually brought out a good point, man. Elena Fisher in Uncharted 4. The writing of her character is so good, and I agree with that. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the actual actress in the Uncharted movie who plays Elena, no, I'm sorry, that was Chloe. I'm tripping. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, it was Chloe. The one who portrayed Chloe. I want to add Chloe in there too, Kioske, but Chloe as well too. Chloe was a really good protagonist as far as stuff. And you also said Red from Transistor doesn't say anything, and she is amazing still. There's a game, real quick before I go to Civ. There's a game that I just played. It's called Pray for the Gods, right? It's pretty much Shadow of the Colossus. I recommend everybody, if you love Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
It's a copy-paste. Pray for the Gods is a copy-paste with a female protagonist, And doesn't have a name, doesn't have any dialogue, but I'm telling you, she is so awesome. I just finished the game. I just beat the game recently. So awesome, dude. And I feel like I'll add her to the list as well, too. Like, she is really, really good. On Twitch, King Trip 30 says, Nilin from Remember Me. I ain't played Nilin from Remember Me, but Nilin from Remember Me was his favorite female protagonist. And then, of course, Luna comes out with Aqua from Kingdom Hearts. I know.
I'm surprised you guys didn't talk about you or Sid hasn't said. Sid hasn't said, because I was going to say Life is Strange.
No, see,
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yep. And that's what I figured out. You know what, Sid, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Thank you, because that's where I was going to go. I mean, if I was to spin my camera around, you guys would see like the other half of my basement is done in like Samus Aran. We're wearing the shirt. Easily one of my favorite characters of all time. She's on the Mount Rushmore of my favorite characters. It's Sagat, Solid Snake, Isaac Clarke, and Samus. Easy peasy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've always been a fan, and I always knew that she was female because there's no dude agile enough in the world to roll up into a little ball and start rolling around. It wasn't a surprise to me. Anyway, no, I'm kidding.
Right.
You're playing Elden Ring.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's really flexible. That's great. No, okay. So you have games where these especially the female protagonist characters are these obvious characters of strength. We brought up Chun-Li. We brought Ellie from Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
We have Control, and we have all these Sonya Blade and all these other. And we have games now that like they're unabashedly totally unafraid of portraying women in these like traditionally stronger roles through the lens of what men think is strong.
Right. Okay.
So
okay.
And it's not a bad thing. Strength is a lot of different things, and that's why for me, I think last year when we talked about this, I talked about Samus. This year, to Smoke's point, I take it the other way around. Max Caulfield is one of the best written characters in video game history.
Facts.
From the very first Life is Strange, and make no mistake, that is a video game series that is a superhero series. They're superhero games.
Right.
They're comic book games. But that's what it is. You don't think of it initially, but really when you look into it, they're all like these deep like origin stories, the morality plays. You see these characters who are introduced to these supernatural powers, these supernatural circumstances, and they have to overcome. With Max Caulfield, yes, she has this amazing, superpower, but the real power in the game comes from her choices, morality-wise, her dealings with people, and those are games, especially the first Life is Strange. I think most of the characters in that game are female.
Right.
Most.
Yeah.
I think there's there are some key players in there. They're male characters, but for the most part, you know, you're this woman who's going to this art school who has these other female companions who, you know, you interact and you sort of really flesh out these characters dynamically. And you know, Max Caulfield is one where I'm not gonna lie, there are a few games where, like, you know, I'm not big enough. I've said this on the show before, like, you get so immersed in these games that something happens and it levels you emotionally. You're just, like, astounded.
Right.
Like, the ending of that game really genuinely effed me up for days. I mean, it was just deep.
Like,
what did you choose?
Yeah, what did you choose?
Well, there were two possible endings, really. I first chose the right ending, like the one you're supposed to choose,
right,
to make things right. The more. Well, I don't want to give.
See, that's the thing, Sid.
Spoil anything.
Yeah.
But I did choose the other one later because I just wanted to see what happens. And that one, even though that was the safer ending, it was not as fulfilling. When you realize who Max is as a character, you realize in the end there is no choice. If you've really been paying attention, if you really understand her, if you understand the character arc, the dynamic, the writing, there is no choice. There's one option. You have to do it because it all culminates to that. You're being taught through her psyche, even though you're making decisions on her behalf, you know what is right. You know the thing that is supposed to be the morally acceptable thing to do, and the game makes you want to travel that path, and that is great writing. When it's the illusion of free will, but really you're supposed to do this, okay? Because you know that she is a good person. She has love in her heart. Right. She's loyal to her friends, and that to me was like, wow. All the superpowers and all this crazy extracurricular stuff going on, it's still a morality play. It still is just about this woman trying to find her purpose in the situation. And I thought that was just unbelievable. And to me, still to this day, it's it's got to be in my top 50 games, maybe higher, but it's just one of the greatest gaming experiences I've ever had. It is just a perfect game. It really is. I have no complaints about
That's facts. You're right about that. You're right about that too, man. I was like, dude, it's just the way Max touched everybody's heart that played that game, dude, was like, oh my God. And actually, I feel like there was no like right decision, man. You know what I mean? As far as the ending goes, it's just how you feel. Basically, it's just how you feel to yourself with what is what would you do? That's like a what would you do kind of moment, you know what I mean?
Because it's amazing, like, the different things that affect you. Because, like, Metal Gear Solid 4, he's crawling through the radiation tunnel. It's good. Like, it gets me emotionally. And then I'm like, oh no, Max Caulfield. It's like such a different dynamic. But, it's amazing what affects you emotionally sometimes. You really do sometimes, in a really good game, you get emotionally vested. And sometimes you're just like, dang, I went deep.
Dude,
Facts. You didn't cut me, man. Cut me.
Dude, you ain't lying, man. Even on Facebook, even Kioske said, like, you can't forget Big Boss, man. Big Boss is
oh my God. Okay,
you can't forget Big Boss, dude. Yeah.
Oh, what a
boss! You need the boss.
The boss. Yep.
Yeah. We know who. We know you need. But that scene where it's like, you have to press the trigger. You just stand there with the gun.
Dude, it's like, what?
Oh, I'm telling you, I think that when the first time I encountered that scene, I think I got up and walked away. Like I left my PlayStation on. I'm like, I can't do this right now. Like I'm not. You can't make me do it. PlayStation 2. You're not my real dad.
Dude. But you had to, man. Like,
eventually you're like, all right, I get it.
Yeah, and then of course MJ on Twitch says all the women on the Borderlands series, are they're pretty much they're pretty much dope, man, funny and all action, man. So shout out to all the women from the Borderlands series as well. So you had there's a lot that we can talk about because I can actually go back and I can say
I want to play as Ellie in Borderlands 4. Can we make her a playable character? She deserves it.
Dude, yo, you know what? The facts, dude. We could. Facts.
Time.
Facts. Yo, you ain't lying about that. Facts, dude.
You're right.
Yo. and then of course, we can't forget the women that heals your hearts. I want to talk about Mercy. from Overwatch, man, because Mercy's listen, you can't. Mercy should be on everybody's list, man. You know, I mean, probably the best healer in Overwatch, man, bar none. You know, for sure. So I gotta give a shout out to that as well. But
you know what I liked about you know what I like about games is when they started to deviate from that damsel in distress nonsense, and they started making female characters playable. Like, it was cool that you could play as the princess in like Super Mario Brothers 2. But what I like even better is like now, like, you can play as Peach, you can play as Princess Zelda in like Smash. Like,
yeah,
they're I hate to say permitted to play now, but
right.
It is what it is. I mean, in a sense, it's kind of nice to see like them get their time. It's like, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're not these background characters anymore. They're not just these tropey, you know, mechanical things to use as plot devices. Like,
right.
Let them be characters. Let them get in the mix, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that kind of stuff. That's cool.
Yep. There you go, man. And like I said, I know you all, the chat, you can probably, you know, name a whole slew of other people, man. You know, like Diva. You could say a whole slew of other, you know, women that have made impact.
We didn't mention Bayonetta.
Yeah, there's a whole lot.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot.
There's
like
a lot of Princess Yuna.
Oh, female shepherd.
I was actually thinking Yuna.
Oh yeah.
That's on my list of things I want to replay, because I really liked X2, because it was sort of like that in X, she's the damsel in distress that. And X2, it's like, yeah, I don't need no man. I got my thing. I'm with my girls. I'm doing my thing.
I was like, this is your story.
Exactly.
No, you know, I was always a Lulu fan. Lulu was always
okay.
I can see
Lulu and Fran.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Lulu and Fran. You know,
I like the rabbit ears. I like the entire dress made out of black belts. I think that's cool. Yeah. That's pretty chic.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Lulu and Fran.
I like a goth girl who still plays with stuffed animals. I dig that.
Yo, facts, man. Listen, I mean, and then of course, you know, Tifa. I was going to say, I'm going to put Tifa from 7. But
of course.
Listen, you know what I mean? What's up, Italy? But yeah, man, listen, that's all we have for today. Paige, thank you so much for jumping in. Like, seriously, man, especially on this episode, man, because, you know, like I said, we definitely need you. You're like an RPG fanatic, you know, and you play.
Yeah, I gotta, as soon as I get done with you guys, I gotta go back and drive my cab. Kazuma's he's got people he's got to take care of it. I got races. I got to take care of these devil killers. It's a whole thing.
And see, that's why we love Paige, man. I don't know, Paige. I mean, if people want to follow you, is there any way they can follow you? If you have like any art pages, Instagram or whatever.
I've got, what's my Instagram? What's my Instagram, Smoke?
Exactly.
Oh, man. Unsurprised Raven. I don't know.
Oh, unimpressed Raven.
There you go. There you go.
My shirt.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it. That's the place. Follow me there.
Raven. I don't.
Yeah, that's it exactly. I'm wearing my Raven shirt. See?
That's all you. Listen, you are. I love that shirt. First of all, I'm just different. I'm not creepy. I'm just different. I like that.
Always, if you want to watch Teen Titans Go, you can catch Paige right on Teen Titans Go.
Exactly.
That's her as Raven.
That is her character easily. But we'd like to thank everybody for jumping in on this episode of Pass Controller, man. Like I said, happy Women's History Month, man. Happy Mario Day. And of course, as we march into April, there's a lot going on in April, man. So, you know, I will be talking about the Sonic movie, the next episode for sure. So let's look out for that.
We're going to talk about that Harry Potter game that they just finally let everyone see the gameplay for that. And I'm buying pre-order.
Yeah.
Pre-ordering it. And that space, because we haven't talked about that.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
That's coming.
Oh, that's coming. I know Sip's going to play that day one. We're going to hear a lot. That's going to be the whole episode. Like, seriously. Yeah. That's going to be the whole episode.
He's going to be probably dressed like Clark and all.
I wish I could see that.
Probably.
I wish I could see that, dude. I can't with y'all, man. Listen, before we end the show, of course, we have some in-game credits, man, for us to share with y'all. Remember, you can share the stream to all of your friends in this game community to stay so that they won't miss any of this info that we have shared today. Don't forget to follow us on our other social media outlets. We have Instagram, we have Twitter, YouTube, Twitch at PTCGamingShow. Send us your questions at our email address, ptcgamingshow@gmail.com. And more importantly, we have a community just for you called PTC Nation. That's right. You can search on Facebook, PTC Nation, or scroll down if you want to Pass Controller page on our Facebook. Just scroll down. You'll see our PTC Nation banner and click right there. That will give you access to PTC Nation. Of course, PTC Nation, you can share your own gaming news, gaming memes, questions to us to answer on our next show. polls and videos. Share your Twitch channels, your YouTube channels, Facebook gaming channels. Put your Xbox gamer tag, PSN IDs, Nintendo friend code, PC team names, everything under the sun. Steam Deck. Anybody got Steam Deck? Hey, there you go. You can share that as well too on PTC Nation. Remember, PTC Nation is all for you to go ahead and connect with others or one another so that we can all pass the controller together. There you go. You know what? That's why I look at Smoke, because I knew he's gonna throw me off of that one.
I was gonna bring my Knuckles puppet out.
Oh man. Before we go, what's everybody?
I was waiting for you to do your British accent, man.
It's not. No, I can't. See, I was practicing on Idris Elba's voice, man. You know, before I came, but I can't. I got a slight. I got a slight cold, man. But I mean, what are y'all gonna play after this, man? What are y'all playing after this, man?
I got to go back and play. And Elden Ring and what's that free DLC they gave us? Oh, not free DLC. The free game they gave us on PlayStation 5, Shadow Warrior, whatever.
Oh, that's right. Free. Hey, there you go. Paige, how about you? What you playing?
What are you talking about? What free game? Wait, what? Huh?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, look at your free game that they announced for PlayStation.
And it's brand new. It just came out. I'm like,
what is it?
They're trying to take a page out of Xbox.
Title of the game. What's the game?
Shadow Warrior. Shadow Warrior 3.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Riding the dragon. It's like the Asian version of Deadpool. I'm like, what the hell? It was really good too. I was like, wow, it's pretty good.
Nice. How about you, Paige? What you doing after? What you playing?
Playing Yakuza 5. I got to go back.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right, you go grind on that, man.
She was talking about driving a cab or something.
Yeah,
right?
she was.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, I see.
That's where he's a cab driver because he's not in the Yakuza anymore. He's just trying to live his life.
Yeah, I got to get back.
All I want to know is I don't know why the hosts all hate him, because you know how like in Yakuza games you're like walking around minding your business and then people just get up in your face and you have to kick their ass.
Yeah.
But usually it's like Yakuza, street gangs, whatever. But for some reason in this game, one of the groups of people that don't like you are hosts.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why they hate me. Like, I don't know what I possibly could have done to a host. Like, I don't know.
You did something.
Well,
when you're driving the cab, you ever have anybody yell to you, "Yo home, smell you later"?
Oh my God. Yo home, smell you later. I can't with you. Listen, that's going to end our show. Again, for Paige, thank you so much for jumping in as well, too. Thank you so a lot, man, for coming on this episode for sure. We'll definitely have you back, man, later on, man. So count on that, man. And guys, look for us on our next episode. So for Paige, for Smoke, for Civic, I'm McNuts. This has been Pass Controller, and as always, get good.
Ass out.
It's an air grease.
Y'all thought that was going away. No. Ass out.
Got windy, so people stopped driving around, making lots of noise.
So Shadow Warrior, was that wasn't like the plus game of them?
It was a new game that came out, and then they ended up making it a free DLC or free plus or whatever. They're trying to take a page out of Xbox. Xbox used to do that. Like they're doing that.
I still show it as full price in the store.
Can you guys explain something to me? What is the difference between Plus and Now?
Now is a streaming service, whereas Plus is